KALISHA Whitman joins us live from Pleasant Grove. KALISHA, how is the rebuilding coming along there?
It's coming along just fine, Ani. I talked with the mayor earlier. He says it's a process, but progress is being made. I also spoke with a resident, and she agrees with the mayor when they both say that through encouragement of the community and other areas that Pleasant Grove is rebuilding, and they both say they hope it will be better than it was before.
Broken tree backs and scattered debris still remain, but in the midst of it all blooms new life. Here in Pleasant Grove, 6 months after a deadly tornado left its mark.
You know, my first thoughts was, my goodness, why us? You know, you just can't imagine unless you was here how bad it looked.
Pleasant Grove resident Annette Long says there isn't a day that goes by that she doesn't think about it, and she still remembers what was going through her mind as she and her family took cover.
A lot of stuff. Is this really possible? Is this really happening? Is it right here?
Her house was destroyed, but she and her family are just days away from welcoming themselves in their new home, in the exact spot where their old home was.
We got to remain positive about this, and this will once again be a very vibrant neighborhood, you know, once it's all said and done.
And building back is contagious.
I'm looking at probably 15 or 20 houses directly in front of me right now that, you know, are all under construction, and probably every one of these houses are better than what they were before the storm hit.
But to see what it was, to witness what it's becoming, and to know the possibility of what it could be is enough for some to want to keep building back this city.
Now, Annette Long says, just like the owner of this house, that this was all a learning lesson for Pleasant Grove, and not just this city, but for other cities. If you see here, this is a safe room that the owner of this house has built inside to make sure that if anything like this ever happens again, that they have a plan, they're ready, and they can go inside. Live in Pleasant Grove, KALISHA Whitman, Alabama's 13 News.
KALISHA Whitman went to Phillips to see firsthand Reverend Shuttleworth's legacy there. KALISHA.
Yes, Mike and Ani, I did go to Phillips Academy, and I also went to 16th Street Baptist Church, and at both places I found people eager to tell about the impact that Reverend Shuttlesworth had on their lives.
In these halls, you will see children of all races partaking in the learning process. But in the 50s, the halls of what's now known as Phillips Academy told a different story, one of segregation. And that's the part of the story Reverend Dr. Fred Shuttlesworth wanted to change.
He came to integrate.
That was more than 50 years ago, but his role in the civil rights movement still resonates with these Phillips Academy students as they recall the day Reverend Shuttlesworth came to visit.
Even though he didn't speak, you could feel a great power and a great reverence from everyone that was in the room towards him.
The fact that he just had the bravery, the will to just speak for what's right.
Fred Shuttlesworth, he gave his life and dedicated his entire life for a good cause so everybody would be treated equally.
Reverend Shuttlesworth didn't get to enroll his children. He was stopped by an angry mob.
He was attacked and beaten and had to be hospitalized.
Now, even though Reverend Shuttlesworth never made it inside to enroll his kids in what was then Phillips High School, we're told his presence here was still vital to the civil rights movement.
Phillips Academy social studies teacher John Mark Edwards explains.
You had to have some sort of event that takes place that you can then build on in the courts. And if there's no black family actually trying to get into a white school system, then the white power structure can continue.
The pastor of 16th Street Baptist Church is thankful that Reverend Shuttlesworth helped in that fight.
He didn't just talk about his passion for equality. He actually put his life on the line on many occasions.
And now that the Reverend Dr. Fred Shuttlesworth's work is done, Reverend Calvin Price says the one scripture that comes to his mind is, "Well done, good and faithful servant."
Now, all the people that I spoke with today say they really hope that people will remember the work that was done and will also carry that over into their own lives. That way they will help the memory of Reverend Dr. Shuttlesworth live on through the ages. Live here in Birmingham, KALISHA Whitman, Alabama's 13 News.
The band didn't miss a beat and the cheerleaders helped keep fans on their feet. Following years of no pigskin play, the Rams are ready for some football. And no one is probably happier about it than 1954 graduate Gloria Randolph.
I was concerned from the very beginning that Ramsey had stopped playing football.
She says when she was in high school, football pep rallies were the norm because Ramsey was football.
The tradition of Ramsey goes back to 31 with All-American football players, etc.
And now a new generation is hoping to revitalize the old tradition.
I'm ecstatic about being here and being a part of the adventure, and I'm really excited about the football game.
After 35 years of not having a football team, the Rams say this pep rally proves that they're back and that they're here to stay.
This is going to strengthen this school, and all of the graduates of Ramsey are proud of Ramsey High School.
And at this moment, this future graduate has only one thing to say.
Go Rams!
As they prepare to have a new football story for the coming decades. KALISHA Whitman, Alabama's 13 News.